Hi, and welcome back. I'm Marie Carl Vilsius-Talty. Welcome back to Partnership Live, our monthly conversation with leaders of New Jersey talking about how to change the paradigm in maternal child health. And we are here today with Shirley Smith, founder, CEO, activist, mother of My Kota Bear. Hi, Shirley. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy to have you here with us today. You work so collaboratively with us, and
Yes.
I'm so excited to tell everybody about the work that you're doing. But before we start, I'd
Hmm.
like to start with one of my softball questions before we tell everybody what you do, your wonderful work that you do. If
Yes.
you weren't doing My Coda Bear, what would you be doing?
If I was not doing my Coda Bear, I would say it would maybe be like a 50-50 split between teaching and because I did childhood teaching for early childhood education for
Mhm.
special needs children before I had Dakota, or I would be an actress.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Sound okay.
Yeah.
Very close to what you're doing now, very close to what you're doing now. So you did not stray too far. Okay,
Yes.
so let's get into My Coda Bear. When we talk about Partnership Live, we usually talk about maternal child health and we talk to leaders that are really changing the paradigm of maternal child health. And
Hmm.
you are an activist, Black woman. You work so closely with what we are aligned to doing. So you are championing maternal and child health. Can you tell us how you got into being an activist and championing maternal child health?
Mm. Well, how I got into it, how I was entrusted into it, let me say, is by the birth of my second daughter, Dakota, who was severely premature. She was a micro preemie.
Mhm.
And me being entrusted in that situation 8 years ago, right? I was about 32, if I'm not mistaken. I'm 40 now. I didn't even know what a micro preemie was, let alone a preemie. What's a
Mhm.
micro preemie, right? So that's after I had Dakota, I started blogging. We'll probably get more into that later, but learning more about premature births, what it looks like. I was now a person that was in this lifestyle and I had no clue. I had no outlet. I had no information. I had no educational awareness about it. So after building on top of my Coda Bear and literally just being there for the parents in the NICU because I am her, she is me, right? That's when I started thinking and diving more into and learning more about the maternal aspect of it, especially as being an African American woman. And the more I did, the more I learned, the more hands-on I was, the more I seen that the communities that were in poverty, right? Those were the ones that was affected the most because I grew up in poverty. And I was even able to realize through my growth and some of my upbringing, the stressors that I had, played a major role in the reason of me having Dakota so early, right? Early
Mhm.
childhood traumas. So the deeper I got into my Coda Bear, the deeper my love and philanthropy work extended to the maternal side of helping to be an advocate for African American women and their babies.
And Shirley, let's go back even a little more because usually when we talk about maternal child health, we talk about morbidity and mortality, and we kind of sometimes forget about the trauma that happens with the morbidity when people actually survive, they have high blood pressure, or they have a traumatic experience and the trauma that that causes, right? So
Right.
having a micro preemie, tell us about a micro preemie. She was born at 5 months, right? At 22 weeks. How many
Yes,
pounds was she?
she was born
How
at
much did
five
she
months. She
weigh?
was 16.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, she was born
10 ounces.
at 5 months. Yeah, she was
Mhm.
20. I went in the hospital at 20
22 weeks.
weeks. That next
Mhm.
day made me 21 weeks. I
Mhm.
had her 21 weeks and 0 days.
Mhm. And what did they
And
say about her survival?
oh, they wreaked death. Like, if I can be flat out honest, transparent, they wreaked death. Like, every conversation, everyone that came in the room, a child surviving this young was foreign. It was unheard of. It was non-existent. This does not happen. So, Miss Smith, we need to prepare you. Are you prepared to um, bury your daughter?
Mhm.
That was what was given to me. That was my story. That was my experience
Mhm.
in the hospital when I first
That
got
was
in there.
very, very traumatic. And how many
Very.
days were you and your family in the NICU?
We were there for 141 days to be exact. 101 day, 141 days of uncertainty, of a roller coaster of what will this day bring? Is she going to
Mhm.
live? Is she going to die? Like all underneath the umbrella of I still don't understand what's going on.
Mhm.
What's happening. I'm trying to be there for her, but I'm losing myself.
Mhm.
And like you said, a traumatic experience that no one talks about whether the child survives or not. Either way, it's equal,
Right.
It's very, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, if I can be honest.
It is very, very traumatizing.
Yes, it is.
Um, so what help did you get mentally? Right?
Mm,
Because I understand that is quite a burden. What can the family do? What can you tell the audience right now? What advice would you give to the audience in terms of telling the family? Would you tell them to stay away? Would you tell
mhm,
them one person each day come and sit with you mentally? What
mhm.
advice would you give them to help a family that is in the NICU?
Um, well, let me start by saying, in my particular situation, we didn't have family. My family lived in New Jersey, and I had Dakota in Ohio. It was
Mhm.
just myself, my husband, and Dakota.
Mhm.
And being her state, we couldn't have people in the hospital with us, right? But if I can be honest with you, I did not receive any help until I had Dakota's youngest sister and well after postpartum depression and everything. So when I speak from my mouth and my heart to the viewers' heart and their ears, is really coming from a soft spoken place because I am that person that did not receive help. But
Mhm.
me being on the other side now and how I try to help moms and parents and their families, I can tell them what I realized I needed. And that
Mhm.
would be to put yourself first, honestly, as mom and dad. And a lot of times we forget about the fathers as well. But
Mhm.
as parents and as mom and as dad, as a mother and a father, if you're not well, you're not together mentally, physically, and emotionally, it's only a matter of time before you crumble. So, like you were saying, the traumatic experience of being in the NICU, you already have that parent guilt, that mom guilt. Oh, it's my fault. What did I
Mhm.
do? My child is early or my child didn't make it. You already have the blame game on yourself. Right.
Right.
So you feeling like if your child survives, you're in the NICU, I can't leave. I have to be here every day, see what's going on. And I get that, but it's a wear and tear on you. And
Right.
for me personally, what again my advice would be is to take care of yourself. If you have family members, maybe see if a family member can go to the hospital and give you a break or a breather maybe a couple times a week, but to lose the guilt as best as you can and dive into your own self-care, because when your child comes home, that's another battle you have to deal with.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oxygen, at home. I didn't have a at home nurse. Some have to deal with the nurses or not. Everything is on your own. And the NICU, they're under the best care. They're in the best place they can ever be during that phase and stage.
Right.
So please take care of yourself.
Because you definitely you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? So that's very
Absolutely not.
so that's is that when you started My Coda Bear or is that when you started blogging? Because at that point
Started.
you didn't know the statistics. You just know that the way that you grew up and the trauma, the weathering, you weren't even aware of the statistics that Black women were 3 times more likely to have a stillbirth.
I did
They
not
had the
even
highest
realize it was a
statistics
thing.
of having preterm labor. You were not aware of that at all. You just woke up, like I read in your book, you New Year's Eve started having pain, went to the doctor. Mhm.
And that's it. I was truly, unbeknownst to me, ignorant to the whole thing. And that's
Mhm.
why I believe each one teach one. If we can broaden the conversation, start speaking out loud about it more, making it more of a priority, and just speaking up and having more of these conversations and more of these talks that we're having right now, we can make a stain. And to answer your question, I started blogging right after I had Dakota because I did not have an outlet, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
what happened was the reason why I found out that this world and this arena was way bigger than what I knew it to be. I had blogged one day, wrote something up, and I was actually my husband was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers at the time, so we were publicized in a huge way, and everybody wanted a response after we had our child. But I literally just put out a blog, like just how I felt, what was going on, and when the outreach and the pouring
The
in came in,
responses.
I said,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's a whole nother world. I'm not alone."
Mhm. Right. Right.
That's how it
So
started.
that gave you the support. So that's how you started My Kota Bear. So how does My Kota Bear support maternal health?
My Coda Bear supports maternal health in reference to the before, during, and after phases, right? Of being there before to support you mentally, just being that person. And we have an organization where you can call if you need guidance, if you need educational awareness. We do a lot of workshops. We are diving in on postpartum depression heavily right now. So we're
Mhm.
a huge advocate for postpartum depression and pre, because again, with the maternal aspect of things, a lot of women are having these children and they're already mentally suffering, physically suffering. You understand what I'm saying? So we try to
Absolutely.
catch it. So we do a
Mhm.
lot of online workshops in person and just being there amongst our mothers. Like we're partnered with hospitals in New Jersey, Beth Israel University, and St. Barnabas. And before COVID, we were really hand in hand. Like I'm a person that's like, hey, I'm here. Can I have a hug? Can I hug you? Can I love on you? So aside of us getting things out virtually and stuff like that, we're looking to jump back in to doing more workshops. We do the community baby shower where
Mhm.
we have a lot of educational resources to educate the moms that there is help out here,
Mhm.
and you're not alone. That's our biggest thing. And that's what we do. We just each one teach one by our programs.
And of course, you work with us
And of course
as a
I work with you
partnership.
guys.
Absolutely.
That's given. That's hands down. That's numero uno. Yes, it is.
You've been such a great collaborator with the partnership and with the prematurity prevention initiative. So how can other community organizations and individuals work with My Kota Bear? How can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to us, email us at info@mycodabear.com. They can email us, or they can go to our website and shoot us a message at mycodabear.com. And we're very hands-on. We respond within 24 hours and just, hey, I want to help, I want to volunteer, I want to partner. And it's almost a given yes for us, right? Because we want to expand, we want to do more outreach, we want to help in more counties and more states and more globally. So,
It
um,
is so very important to get the information out there. And even though there's more information about postpartum depression and premature births and just traumatic births and weathering and high blood pressure, because so many people think that they're alone. And you
yes,
sharing your experience and showing people that look like us, that
yes.
sound like us, that live like us, that they're not alone is so very important. I usually ask people about if they were going to write a book, which you already have. So your book is called Mama Bear. So tell me about the title and what made you write this autobiography.
Well, let me start by saying everyone has a story, right? It's not just me. You have a story. People that we're attached to have stories. Our families have stories. But for me and for my story, I felt like I needed to make this memoir because my first ministry is my children, and I have
Mhm.
three daughters. And the way I grew up in a not so um, easy childhood, and I raised my youngest brother, and I was 8 years old raising him, right? So growing up underneath that umbrella And then getting older and still feeling like I'm raising, I'm helping, I'm serving. It's like I'm mama bear to everybody. I'm mama bear to everybody, but mama bear needs to be taken care of too. And me
Hmm.
writing the
Hmm.
book, I actually just started journaling. That's what I do. And I actually ended up writing the book because I wanted to create generational healing for myself and for my daughters. So me writing the book was very, very, it was traumatic because I had to go back into the past, but it was very healing. It was very healing, a healing journey for me writing the book. I did it because I wanted to be transparent. It's a memoir, so you learn everything about me. I wanted people and I wanted women to know you are not alone. You know, I've been here, there, everywhere, on top, underneath, in the middle, and I wanted women to have something to relate to. Say, hey, I'm relatable to Mama Bear. I'm a Mama Bear as well. You know, everybody goes through, but we can come out and we can use our story to help someone else.
That's beautiful. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for sharing it. Which chapter do you think was the most challenging to write?
Ooh. Um, I can't tell you exactly the numeric chapter, but for me, it was the chapter when I had to go back to relive the experience of my mom going on a binge because my mom was addicted to crack cocaine in the 90s. And she went on a binge and she said, you know, I'll be right back. But her right back turned into almost a week plus of leaving myself in the house with my younger brother. He was about 4 at the time, I'm not mistaken. Like, yeah, around like 4. And me trying to fend for him and find food and to relive that experience was really hard for me because it was so vivid. Like
Hmm.
I literally went right back into the studio and I was right back into the walls because it was not like I'm sitting in my office right now and I'm just writing, oh, this happened. I literally had to remove myself and dive into those memories and it was not flowers and roses. It
Right.
was a lot of tears and just knowing like, wow.
But I'm sure it brought you a lot of strength and a lot of closure.
Yes.
And it was I really enjoyed it. It gave me a lot of strength, and I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
sharing that part of your journey with you. And your journey is just beginning. So I have a closing question for you. I wish we
Oh,
had more time to spend
I
with you.
know. Okay.
Um, so now that you have shared your journey of
Yes.
having your children, going through your turbulent time with Dakota, um, having raised your brother, writing Mama Bear, if you were to create a personal brand logo to
Mm,
represent your life's journey
mm.
thus far,
I was about to
what
say that's far.
would what would that brand logo be and why?
Ah, um, the brand logo for where I am thus far. I'm just going to just say it. Just I just feel like my brand logo would be holistically me being a loyal person. Um, I'm a gifted woman and I really feel like the things that I've been through catapulted me to where I am now because I give selflessly of myself to help others become holistically independent. And that independence can look like loving themselves independently, taking care of themselves independently, you know. So that's what I would say. I give selflessly of myself to help others holistically become independent.
Why, thank you. Thank you, Miss Shirley Harris.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
Yes,
We enjoy working with you and we look forward to further
likewise.
collaboration.
And thank you
Thank
for
you so
everything
much.
that you do. Thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to all good things.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.